Today we are talking about, what are we talking about today? We are talking about releasing judgment and inner negativity. And when I say judgment, I mean judgment towards yourself. And we're talking about lasting motivation. So I've had some amazing feedback from you ladies about the 5-day challenge, Change Your Mind, Change Your Life this week. So it's been absolutely lovely to get messages from you telling me that you've already implemented some of the learnings and some of the stuff that we've been talking about, or even just how some of the stuff's just been really helpful in, you know, learning and developing about yourself and how you operate as a person, and just understanding yourself better and learning how to help yourself feel more positive in general. So that's been really, really nice. So on day one, then we spoke about how thoughts become things. And if you've not caught the replays, you know, feel free to go back and catch them. If you just go to the video section in my page, Rebecca Lockwood, you'll see them all come up there. So in day one, then we talked about how thoughts become things. We talked about the, we kind of used this board to describe it. And we talked about how events happen in our lives, how things happen in our lives, and then we compare everything to our internal script based on our memories, our values, our beliefs, and the things that have happened to us in our lives. We then spoke about how we delete, distort, and generalize everything that happens compared to our script, and then how we create an internal image of everything that goes on in our lives. And that's like a Netflix version of your life in your own mind. So like I've got a Rebecca Flicks, you might have whatever Flicks, and basically that's like how we perceive our lives and how we perceive our like everything that happens basically. And then what happens is, from that image, based on that image, our physiology and state comes from there. So that like affects our mood, how we feel, what mood we're in, and that kind of thing. And then that affects our behaviors. So we project that out onto the world, and that's why everybody has like a different version of events. Everyone has a different model of the world. We all perceive things to be different based on this information. So again, if you've not seen the last few videos, do feel free to go back and check them out, because they will be there on the video section of my page for you to catch whenever you want. And a lot of people have said that they just listen to them on the go. So it's really helpful to just like put in the car if you're doing something, or just pop in your ears whilst you're doing something else. So today then we're going to talk about, on day 3 we talked about how to change the system. We talked about how to like change this internal image, how to create a better physiology, how to feel better about things, and I gave you some really quick, really simple techniques and tools to be able to use in your own life, and that can help you just make really quick changes, but you can also use them on an ongoing basis. And then today then we are talking about judgment, releasing judgment and inner negativity, and lasting motivation. And I'm really excited about this, because this section, I mean, all of it has had a massive impact in my life, but I think the releasing judgment and negativity has had a really big impact in my life, based on how I show up as myself and how I perceive myself. And because how I perceive myself is then projected out into the world. Releasing judgment and inner negativity. Now, I want you to think, like I just mentioned, about this internal telly. So what happens is, when events happen in our lives, we compare them to our script and we create an image in our minds. So I told you all about the story about when I was on holiday. In April, I went on holiday for 2 weeks, and it was all inclusive, and it was really lovely. It was amazing. I didn't work one bit, which was absolutely refreshing. But what happened was, when I was on holiday, like, because it was all inclusive, I ate more than what I'd usually eat. Like, I actually don't really eat that much now, because I'm just so focused and like I get so much done really quickly. sometimes I might think to myself, like, side note, sometimes I might think to myself, I really want a cup of tea, but because I'm so like engrossed in what I'm doing, and I'll talk to you about this in the motivation, in lasting motivation, because this will really help you. Because I'm so engrossed in what I'm doing, like sometimes like it's like 2 hours fly by and I still want the cup of tea, but I've not gone to make it because I didn't want to break off, because I'm so motivated to do what I'm doing. Would that be helpful for you to learn like how to become like really motivated, so you just like head down, get shit done? Like procrastination, a thing of the past. Like seriously, there are some really good tools that I can teach you. So anyway, when I was on holiday, I ate quite a lot. So I bought a whole new wardrobe because I didn't really have any holiday clothes that I wanted to take with me. So I bought all new wardrobe. Like, I swear to God, I bought the whole of Marlan. And when I was on holiday, like obviously when I was putting clothes on, I had nothing to like refer to, like in terms of whether I've put on weight or not, because I'd never worn the clothes before, so I didn't know how they'd fit, and I'd never worn them before, so I didn't know how they used to fit. Anyway, I looked in the mirror, like we were like on day 3 or 4, and I looked in the mirror and I was like, oh, actually, I think I'm putting on a bit of weight. And like for a split second, the thoughts that came into my mind were, oh my God, what if my husband doesn't find me attractive anymore? Oh my God, what if my husband notices that I'm putting on weight? And this, like, all this judgment and negativity just bubbled up out of nowhere. And basically, this was my interpretation of my internal telly, like my Rebecca flicks that I was then projecting out onto the world. But because I was aware of this, and I do this training and I practice what I preach, in that split second, I also managed to catch myself, and I was like, hang on a minute, what's going on here? And I just then asked myself a better question. So we spoke on changing the system on day 3, about asking yourself better questions, and about the 4-second rule. So if you've not caught that, please do go back and watch it, because you'll find it so helpful. And so many people have said that even just that has completely flipped life around. And even for me, just that one element of everything like that I've learned from NLP, just that one element of asking myself a better question has completely changed my life. But anyway, so what I did was I asked myself a better thought. Like, I was like, okay, what's going on here? And then I realized that because I'd looked in the mirror and I'd noticed that I was putting on weight, or I thought I was putting on weight, I then started to jump to conclusions, and being really negative towards myself. I started judging myself. I actually recall saying something I'm not going to repeat to myself in the mirror. And then I was like, what is going on? And then I looked at myself and I was like, had a proper word. And I was like, Rebecca, like, what's happening? Like, actually, I'm really proud of you. Like, look how far you have come. And this is something that I want you to think about as well. Like, so many people, like, they don't just stop and just give themselves a pat on the back. Like, and I'm so guilty for this even now, like I'm telling this story now. We're so guilty of, like, especially such high achievers, and I know that all you that are listening to this are in that bracket. Like, you all high achievers, you want to achieve great things, you will achieve great things, but rather than, stopping and saying, okay, how much have I done so far? Like, how far have I come? Like, what have I achieved this week, this month, this year, this last 6 months? And stopping and saying, well done. We don't tend to do that often enough. And so what I want to ask you today is, like, what have you done? I want you to write a list of all the achievements that you've created, like all the things that you've done that you're really proud of yourself for. Like, just get a pen and a piece of paper. You can either do it right now, or if you're doing something else, do it later. But just sit down with a pen and a piece of paper, or if you've got a journal, write out like a list of all the things that you've done in the last 12, in fact, forever, like all the things that you've ever done in your life that you're proud of. So, like, for me, when it happened, then I caught myself and I was like, hang on, Rebecca, what is going on here? I looked at myself in the mirror and I said, Jesus, Rebecca, I am so proud of you. Like, look how far you've come. Firstly, I was on holiday, and I paid for my holiday in full, and I was not working. Like, I've set up my business so that I can take time off and not have to work. And I've got passive income streams. I've got, like, you know, like everything's really hunky-dory, right? But we're so guilty of not stopping and just saying, well done you, like you've done really well. And like I reminded myself that 10 years ago I was living in a flat with no furniture. You know, I was in a really abusive relationship, which was really violent and really horrible. I was 17 years old and I had nothing. Like I literally had nothing. I had no curtains. I didn't have a bed. We had a sofa that my boyfriend at the time had found in the field next door. And I had to steal food from Netto's supermarket to be able to eat. Like that was 10 years ago. And now I'm creating all these amazing things. And I, you know, we don't just stop and just say, well done you, well done. So one of the things I want you to do then is I want you to sit and write a list of all the things that you've achieved in your lifetime that you're proud of. Because what's going to happen here is you're going to remind yourself of things that you've done, and you're going to start to release the judgment and the inner negativity. So this will not only help with releasing judgment towards yourself and inner negativity, but it will also help with confidence as well, and achieving the things that you want to achieve, and it'll help keep you motivated. So this kind of goes really, really good hand in hand, because like it just sits so nicely together. And like, how far have you come? Anyway, so back to the story. So I was looking in the mirror and I was looking at myself and I was like, I thought back to that time 10 years ago and I thought, Jesus, Rebecca, you have come so far. Like I could have so easily gone down a different path. In fact, I started to go down a different path at that time in my life, and it just didn't happen. Like I can't remember what it was now thinking back that stopped it, but it didn't happen. And you know, I'm really grateful for that. So when it comes to gratitude, like, are there times in your life when things could have gone a different way or happened differently, or something else could have happened and for some reason it just didn't? Like, you don't need to know why or how or what, but sometimes something, you know, something happened and you just came on the path that you're on now, and it brought you to where you are today. Like, and gratitude is so amazing because we cannot hold a negative emotion at the same time as a positive emotion. So when we feel gratitude and we feel grateful for something, like for example where we are right now, like why are we grateful for where we are right now, your inner negativity just drops. Like it'll just completely fizzle because you cannot hold a negative emotion at the same time as a positive emotion. So it'll just, your negative one will just get blasted out. So another thing to do then is just to write like 3 things that you're grateful for about yourself. Like, I'm grateful that I have shown up for myself today. I'm grateful because I don't know what in your terms, you know, what are you grateful for? I'm grateful because I understand myself and I know that I can, I can be kinder to myself. I'm grateful for catching myself with these thoughts right now and flipping them on the head and asking myself a better question. I'm grateful that I've learned myself that I can ask myself better questions and show up as a better version of myself instead of a negative version of myself, or instead of a disempowered version of myself. You know, that was me then and this is me now. And it's okay, you know, sometimes we go through these days and some days are harder than others, and I get that. I live it, I experience it, I know it. But the art and the beauty of this is that that is okay. And sometimes it's not about changing who you are or what you're doing. It's about just understanding how you operate, and understanding how to get better results for yourself. Like that, just asking yourself a better question, just flipping from a negative emotion into a gratitude and feeling gratitude and love, and allowing yourself to release that in negativity and letting it fizz and pop. I'm on holiday, I'm looking at myself in the mirror and I'm saying, Rebecca, I am so proud of you. Like, you have come so far. And this feels cheesy now, but this is what happened. You have come so far, and look at what you're doing now. Look at your beautiful children. Look at your amazing husband. Like this is, you know, this has happened, and I'm grateful for you for bringing you here, bringing myself here. And then what happened was I just got on with it. Like I just got on with my holiday, and I thought, you know what, I'll come to the weight thing. If I put on weight, it'll be fine. I'll sort it out when I get home. It doesn't matter. I'm just going to enjoy myself. I'm going to eat what I want. I'm just going to whatever. Anyway, when I got home 2 weeks later, I looked in the mirror at myself, and then I remembered about this, you know, feeling like I've been putting on weight. And if anything, I had lost weight, like if anything. And it was just the way the mirror was tilted. which is ridiculous, right? But it's things like this that happen every single day in our lives that can, determine how we feel, how we show up, how we judge ourselves, how whether we have in a negativity or in a positivity or in empowerment. And it's just really good reminders that we can show up as a different version of ourselves or as a better version of ourselves. Or if we begin to show up as a negative version of ourselves, we know now, and we can learn how to ask ourselves a better question that's going to support us in our lives rather than a negative one and judge ourselves. So all I was doing when I was looking in the mirror at myself was judging myself, being negative towards myself, and I had loads of inner negativity going on. And again, I'm an NLP master trainer, NLP master coach and NLP trainer. And, I'm still a human being. This happens to all of us. It's about learning and developing and understanding ourselves better, communicating more effectively with us, and then being able to communicate more effectively with other people as well. So when it comes to lasting motivation, then straight away you can see, so when we're motivated, right, our physiology is it's more exciting, our energy is higher, our physiology changes, so our shoulders are back, our chin might be up. And you might have noticed if you're watching the video how I just, as soon as I said motivation, I changed how I was sat and I put my head up and I started bouncing around a little bit, and it's like more of an exciting feeling. And I want to use Marie's example here because I've hardwired this. I've created neurons in my mind and pathways that make it habit, right? Because I've done this for so long. So 8 years before I did NLP training, I was a sales coach and sales trainer, and we did cold calling completely. So there was no appointment. Well, there might have been a few appointments, but it was mainly like 99.9% cold calling into businesses in and out in person, right? So the people weren't expecting us. Like, nobody knew that we were going into their business to sell them phone line and broadband. We were just like trumping what they're currently were paying. But can you imagine, like, we were out from 8 o'clock in the morning till sometimes 7 o'clock at night. If you did not hit target, you were out until 7 p.m. That was the time that the phone line shut to stop incoming sales coming in. So if you'd not hit your target, that was it. You were out till 7 p.m. There was no option. And so we had to keep ourselves motivated all day long to be able to hit targets, to be able to make sure that we'd got it. Because if you'd not hit target at 5 o'clock at night, right, you can imagine by that time, if you've been walking in and out of businesses, speaking to like different people and selling them this phone line and broadband package, it could be tiring. It was tiring, but we still had to keep ourselves motivated and on top of the world to be able to achieve the target, right? Because again, if by 5 p.m. you not achieved target, you were still out by 7 p.m. But in my case, I was not only doing that for myself, but I was managing a team to do that too. So I had to keep my team motivated and on top of the world and feeling excited and raring to go so that they could keep going, keep excited and achieve that target before 7 p.m. Or even earlier. Like, really, we wanted people to hit it before dinner time so that they could go home. And thankfully, I most of the time did hit mine in the first couple of hours, and then I went home. So they could, most days were quite short. So the way then to keep yourself motivated and have lasting motivation, I mean, there are tons and tons of ways that we can do this. I could literally sit and talk to you about this for hours, but I'm just going to give you some really quick tips. One actually really, really quick tip, which is going to support you to, two really quick tips actually, which is going to support you to keep yourself like really motivated. So I'm going to use Marie's example then. So Marie said that she wishes she still had the boldness and determination and energy now to do the things that she did before. And now what I want to say to you is that, like, you can, like, what I want you to think about is to borrow a feeling that you had previously about something that you were really motivated about and that you were really excited about. And we spoke about internal representations and our internal tellies, right? So into your internal Netflix, I want you to think about, like, think back to a time when you were like really, really motivated to do something, like so motivated. And just imagine that time now, like see what you saw then, hear what you heard then, and feel the feelings of feeling really, really motivated. and just allow yourself to like turn the feelings up as high as you possibly can. You're feeling really, really motivated, and then just borrow that feeling for now. So if there's something that you need to feel motivated about doing now, just borrow that feeling. Just take yourself back to a time when you felt really motivated, really excited, really, really excited and motivated to take action, and bring that feeling to now. And literally propel yourself into that feeling and then bring it back to now. And literally, when I say feelings of feeling motivation, let yourself feel it throughout the whole of your body. Like imagine the feeling running through your arms, into the tips of your fingers, through your chest, down into your stomach and into your legs and to the tips of your toes. Turn that feeling up to like a 10, 11, 12, like 10 being the highest. Turn it higher than you thought you could even turn it, and then just bring it into now. Step into it. And if you're seeing a picture in your mind, I want you to step into the picture and see it through your own eyes and borrow that feeling for now. That's a really quick technique, and the art of this is to just keep doing it, keep practicing it, and then what will happen is it will become natural, like it'll become a habit. It will create new neural pathways in your mind, which will flip. And once you've done it for so long, you'll just automatically do it. So it's like in my case, I mean, 8 years is a long time to have been motivated every single day. But what happened is because I did it for so long and every single day, like in, out, in, out, in, out, it then became a habit for me. So it was a habit to be motivated. It was a habit to take action. And I'm a massive action taker. And I move really fast as well. So what the idea here is that if we keep borrowing that feeling, keep stepping into that picture of being motivated, turn them feelings up as high as you possibly can, and then use it for what you're doing now, like what it is that you feel that you want to feel motivated about doing now, then the more you do it, the more you'll create the habit of doing it. Okay, so what we could do is when we turn them feelings up as high as we possibly can, is we can create an anchor. Now, an anchor, I teach this in the NLP Foundations course properly, but I just want to kind of touch on it now because it might be useful to hear. An anchor is when you create like something. So for example, you can create it on your knuckle. So if you stack like a resource, like motivation resource, you can fire it off. So when you're feeling as motivated as you possibly can, you want to fire, like press your knuckle when it hits peak, and then you can release it. And so what will happen is if you just do that every time you feel motivated and feel like you want to take action, you can do it when you put yourself in that state. You can do it if you ever feel in that state in the future. So if at any random time you feel really motivated, you can fire off your knuckle. And then what will happen is in the future, when you want that resource, but you don't feel like it, you can just fire off your knuckle, and that will automatically make you feel motivated and excited. And then again, what you'll find will happen is you won't even need to press your knuckle or step into the picture to feel the feelings of feeling motivated, because they will naturally come and it will naturally have created a habit for you.